Hi everybody, good morning. This is a weekly sort of recap and plan session for the coming week, which is from today. So what we will do essentially is look at the weekly profile charts and weekly analysis to set up a broader area of interest and areas where we want to trade and have a larger context in place as well. So we'll quickly start with the Nifty charts. This is the Nifty weekly profile if you see, and then if you see last week, what we had is if you see those pink lines. Last week we had those point of reference as point of reference where we said essentially we need a break outside this region for markets to sort of break away, and then eventually we opened just on sort of gap up just above the reference point, and then we moved on. We had targets of about 650, 900. We both were sort of met as part of last week's recap. Okay, and now let us look at this week. First, we'll just clean up the charts. In terms of, see, we do a lot of daily analysis and in the intermarket analysis stuff during the day, but this is more setting up the weekly context for all of us. Okay. So we'll just now if you see last week's profile, I see there are two prominent areas. Okay, one we had sort of this, and then we had sort of this. So these are the two prominent areas in profile, and so this is a key LVN in between, right? So our expectation here would be sort of if we stay within that LVN and we do not cross it on the upside now, or we sort of break lower than this, you look to have a lower look for markets to move lower if you stay below these regions. Okay, so you'll potentially, if market sort of stays below this, falls further, we'll look to test this around 500 region, and below that we would look to test around 300 region. Okay, these are the two potential for a downside scenario in place. In case markets take support here and sort of wicks and then bounces above, then we'll look to test back into 850 900 region again, and probably try and test the high of the last week. Okay, so that's the core plan for Nifty for this week. So we'll look for a we'll look for a defense of this region for the bulls and the bears, which is 670 700 650 700, let's say. Okay, bearish below, bullish above sort of scenario, keeping it simple. Okay, and our target ranges would be in that case, as I said, one could be this, and then it could be this on the downside. And just a second, let us sort of take this off as a clarity thing as well. So this could be one target range, and then we could look to target this on the upside. If we really hold, we could look to target this, and then probably go and hit the high of this region, which is this. Okay, so these are the potential areas we'd look to target. Okay, given the weak close that I had, I would look for a sort of a break below and a hold of the resistance to for a short side continuation at this point. Okay, now let's look at Bank Nifty. Okay, Bank Nifty again. These are the weekly profiles. Last week our plan was to see a break of this region, the gray one that you see. So we really gapped up well above that region. So the bullish bias was established once these lows were held, and then we had a pretty upside play. We did if you look, if you're part of a Telegram group, you would know that we did look for targets of 34 200 400 and on the upside, which were achieved. And eventually, and like on Friday, we are very clear that 495 520 is going to be resistance, and that's what happened. Market spiked around that zone, and it really fell from there. Okay, so the week worked pretty well. Now let's look at how this week sort of can play out. Okay, we'll just let's say delete. I'll just remove the drawings for clearer picture. So this week, when we look at Bank Nifty, we sort of we have if you see, we have again this a profile like this, and we add a consolidation here on Monday, which is these two areas, right? Okay, so our key thesis here would be to see if we can really hold, because we broke above this region, right? Because we broke above this region, and sort of gapped up and then now has attempted that gap here. If you see this region, our key thesis would be if you are able to hold into this region. So if you see this, I really want markets to really sort of hold into this region for a bullish or a bearish bias. If you are able to sort of pull back above here, which is 33 100 areas, then I'd look for a bullish continuation. If this pullback fails, we would look to test this and eventually test around 32,000 levels as well. Okay, so that becomes our key reference for the week. So overall, if you see week wise, we have formed a higher value area. So because till last week, we were looking for a downside inflection because this was sort of week one, week two, week three, and then week four we had lower value area. So this week we have a higher value area. So that means both in Nifty, Bank Nifty, ideally, on a swing basis, you look for some support here or here to sort of pull back. But then this wick was a big wick if you see, and so these areas, which is 34K now, would sort of be a strong resistance. And until we take that out, and if we do take that out, we really look for another 1,000 1,500 move on the upside. Okay. So overall, these areas is going to be a big resistance. Let's have a quick look at the normal charts. Let's say, yeah, if you see this, okay, if you see this is a longer time frame analysis. So these areas have been areas of consolidation. One, markets have sort of at this point, we consolidated here. Now we've consolidated here. So this any pullback to this areas has acted as a support. So really swing wise, we need to take this area out, which is 34K, or we need to take this area which is 31K from a larger long term perspective. Okay, I think that's about it. Wish you good luck for the week. Thank you.